Okay, so anytime you're doing development, you're going to occasionally go down rabbit holes. And, by rabbit holes, meaning you've got to stop what you're working on and go do something else. And it's going to take up time from your day. And so it is a setback on the daily objective, but it needed to be done. And so there's still a task that was accomplished here. So I'm going to show you what I did. Ignore most of these files. I just changed the notes to more of a README. Instead of having a bunch of READMEs, I am going to have a README folder, then some individual folders that you can kind of throw all kinds of content into, like to-dos. It could be kind of random at times, but then there'll usually be a primary README. So but that's not what I'm focusing on. So I made a small change to the authorization package, and this is already out there on GitHub, but I will be putting these updates, merging these updates into it at the end of the month. And I make my own copy of it here because I know I'm going to be making modifications, and then I'll want to push those back out to everybody else once I'm done with a project, or when maybe a sprint is done. Okay, so what we did is on the configuration side, for SaaS Auth, there's a package called SaaS Auth config, and it has your configuration values. And what you do in your project is you basically copy this file into your config folder. I name mine secret underscore, and then I have an ignore. Git will ignore anything that starts with secret. And we basically change the values in this, and that becomes part of our install process. So I've added a new value called SaaS Auth Pass Prefix, and it's set to Jello in here. Of course, I've changed it and set it to something else that is my secret. And what this does is when you log in, when you try to create a new account, if your password doesn't start with Jello, it won't allow you to create the account. Now, why would I do this? Because if you go to superloser.io right now, you can get to the application. I don't really want anyone creating accounts while I'm doing development. And so this is a way of kind of locking them out. It still works. I can still test account creation because I know what the prefix is, but in theory you don't, and you won't be able to create a new account. And what that looks like is this. So I tried to create an account. I did not put the prefix in front of this password, and you get an error. This environment may not be available to the public. Secret prefix is defined, and an error occurred processing during this request. So that all shows up, and if I did add the prefix, it would allow me to create this account. So that gets saved, and we're gonna make a commit here to my private superloser repo, and so we'll say added SaaS Auth Pass Prefix, kind of the main thing we did. Commit, and we'll push that. That's kind of backs up my code changes by putting it out on GitHub. And I do recommend you use a product like GitHub or GitLab, are two of the big ones. You have some way of backing your code up. You can use one of the older tools and maybe use a Dropbox folder, and that way you're sure that your changes in your code is all getting backed up. Okay, so that was a rabbit hole, and that is all we need to do right now. Thanks.